Hello everybody, welcome back to Racing with Vets. How's everybody want to do today? Salutations to you, to everyone, and a wee pot of gold to all of you. Today we got a lot of stuff going on. Hello Mr. Fitness, how's it going there, young man? Everybody, if you get a chance, go watch Mr. Fitness's YouTube there. Very good, very good. The guy's 60 years old and built like a brick shit house. Just don't try one of his recipes. I tried to do push-ups on the wall, went right through the wall, but he tried. If you get a chance to look at Mr. Fitness, he'll show you how to keep trim. Believe me, he will. Like I said, the guy is built like a brick shit house, and he works out every day. So if you get a chance there, Fitness, put your email address there so people can find, or your link, so they know where to go to. Yeah. All right. Today we don't have Mr. Guru. Apparently he's been busy or something going on right now. I'm not qualified to say. If he happens to show up, he does. If he doesn't, well, more power to him because he's probably busy. Knowing him, he's always doing something. But today I have a lot of stuff. I want to get through it, and then that's why I can just relax today. I've been busy, well, couldn't believe how busy I was today. So without further ado, let me start this right now as I'm talking to you. I'm going to start getting some. Please learn off of these videos. I mean, this took me a whole week to find out the best ones that made a lot of sense. That would help other people out. And we're going to go one by one here. So without further ado, let's start one up here so we can see what's going on here. And I got the wrong one as usual. Hold on here. Bear with me here. I don't want that. All right, hold on here. I'm still playing around with this thing. All right, we'll try this one here. This is proper. Like I said, I got a lot of content here. Make sure this thing's on. Push it up. Go back. There's a lot to this. There we go. Okay, here we go, everybody. Enjoy. Please learn.
Brian, let's
In one way or another, we are so far, globally, we are so far above the population and the consumption levels which can be supported by this planet that I know in one way or another it's going to come back down. So I don't hope to avoid that. I hope that it can occur in a civil way, and I mean civil in a special way, peaceful. Peace doesn't mean that everybody's happy, but it means that conflict isn't solved through violence, through force, but rather in other ways. And so that's what I hope for. That we can, the planet can support something like 1 billion people, maybe 2 billion, depending on how much liberty and how much material consumption you want to have. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. We could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. Unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. But if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have it. But we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence, so we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are pretty pessimistic hopes, but that's what lies ahead.
Well, you heard it first there, guys. They're actually going to eradicate 6 to 7 billion people on this planet. This is the whole idea. It's not just the cows that they want to eradicate that blow farts and throws out methane gas when they burp and all that. It's us, carbon-based people called human beings. This is where it's coming from. They don't want us to live. They want to get rid of us so they can have most of the resources. If they really wanted to fix this planet, they would shut everything down, all the factories, all the manufacturers. Go back to horse and buggy days. This is just a facade, a game playing thing, a fear factor for everybody to be worried about. The bad thing about it is that the rich are for this. The elitists, the people who have billions and billions of dollars, who won't help the homeless or help any American, UK, or any other people around the world, the homeless. They're greedy. They're nasty and they're demented. All right, let's move on to another one here. Just to give you something to think about with eradication. This is true. This is coming up. I just gave you documentation on it. Once I find out some more, I'll show you more here. There we go. Here's another one here. Bear with me. We'll get you started. You hear a noise in the background. I got family over here. So, there we go.
By the way, speaking of American values, aren't we about due to start bombing some small country that only has a marginally effective air force? Seems to me like we're a couple of weeks overdue to drop high explosives on helpless civilians. People who have no argument with us whatsoever. I think we ought to be out there doing what we do best, gang, making big holes in other people's countries. I hate to be repetitious, but God, we are a warlike lot, We can't stand not to be fucking with somebody. We couldn't wait for that Cold War to be over, could we? Just couldn't wait for that Cold War to be over so we could go and play with our toys in the sand. Go play with our toys in the sand. And when we're not invading some sovereign nation or setting it on fire from the air, which is more fun, then we're usually declaring war on something here at home. Do you ever notice that? We love to do that, don't we? We love to declare war on things here in America. Anything we don't like about ourselves, we have to declare war on it. Don't do anything about it. We just declare war on it. We got a war. It's the only metaphor we have in our public discourse for solving a problem. It's called declaring a war. We got a war on poverty, the war on crime, war on litter, the war on cancer, the war on drugs. But you ever notice there's no war on homelessness, is there? Nah, no war on homelessness. You know why? There's no money in that problem. There's no money in that problem. Nobody stands. It's true. Nobody stands to get rich off of that problem. You could find a solution to homelessness where the corporate swine and the politicians could steal a couple of $1 million each. You'd see the streets of America begin to clear up pretty goddamn quick. I'll guarantee you that. I will guarantee you that. Now, so, I got an idea for homelessness. You know what they ought to do? You know what they ought to do? Give the homeless their own magazine. Give them their own magazine. It would make them feel better, for one thing. That's a sure sign of making it in this country. Every group in this country that makes it and arrives at a certain level has its own magazine. You have Working Mother magazine, Black Entrepreneur magazine, Hispanic Business magazine. In fact, any activity engaged in by more than 4 people in this country has got a fucking magazine devoted to it. Skydiving, mountain climbing, snowmobiling, backpacking, bungee jumping, duck hunting, shooting someone in the asshole with a dart gun, jerking off. They probably have a magazine for that. I'm sure they have. I know they have a magazine. Walking. Walking! There's actually a fucking magazine called Walking. Look, Dan, the new Walking is out. Here's a good article, putting one foot in front of the other. Give them their own magazine. Give them. Give the homeless their own magazine. You know what you call it? Better Crates and Cartons. Then when they get finished reading it, they can use it to line their clothing. That's a good, sound business solution. That's the kind of answer you get from a conservative American businessman. Yeah, let them read it. When they get finished reading, they can use it to plug up the holes in them piano crates they all seem to like to live in. A good, sound, practical, conservative American business solution. I'll tell you what they ought to do about homelessness. First thing, change the name of it. Change the name of the condition. It's not homelessness, it's houselessness. It's houses these people need. A home is an abstract idea. A home is a setting. It's a state of mind. These people need houses, physical, tangible structures. But where are you going to put them? Where are you going to build them? Nobody wants you to build low-cost housing near their house. People don't want it near them. We got something in this country, you've heard of it, called NIMBY, N-I-M-B-Y. Not in my backyard. People don't want any kind of social help located anywhere near them. You try to open up a halfway house, try to open up a rehab center for drugs or alcohol, try to build a little home for some retarded people who want to work their way into the community. People say, not in my backyard. People don't want anything near them, especially if it might help somebody else. Part of the great American spirit of generosity we're always told about. Big, generous American nation. Ask an Indian about that. Ask an Indian how generous this country is. If you can find one, you got to locate the Indian first. We've made him just a little difficult to find. Or if you need current data, select the black family at random and ask them how generous this country has been. People don't want anything near them, even if it's something they believe in, something they think society needs, like prisons. Everybody wants that, right? Everybody wants more prisons. That's the new answer to all of our problems. Lock a lot of motherfuckers up. Everybody wants more prisons. They say, build more prisons! But not here. Well, why not? What's wrong? What's the problem? What's wrong with having a prison in your neighborhood? It would seem to me like it would make it a pretty crime-free area, don't you think? You think a lot of crackheads and muggers and pimps and hookers are going to hang around in front of a fucking prison? Bullshit, they ain't coming anywhere near it. What's wrong with these people? All the criminals are locked up behind the walls, and if a couple of them do break out, what do you think they're going to do? Hang around? Check real estate trends? Bullshit. They're fucking gone. That's the whole idea of breaking out of prison, is to get the fuck as far away as you possibly can. Not in my backyard. People don't want anything near them. Except military bases. They don't mind that, do they? No, they like that. Give them an army base. Makes them happy. Why? Jobs. Jobs. Self-interest. Even if the base is loaded with nuclear weapons, they don't give a fuck. They say, well, I'll take a little radiation if I can get a job. Working people have been fucked over so long in this country, those are the kind of decisions they're left to make. I got just a place for low-cost housing. I have solved this problem. I know where we can build housing for the homeless. Golf courses. Perfect. Golf courses. Just what we need. Plenty of good land in nice neighborhoods, land that is currently being wasted on a meaningless, mindless activity engaged in primarily by white, well-to-do male businessmen who use the game to get together to make deals to carve this country up a little finer among themselves. I am getting tired. Really tired. I am getting tired of these golfing cocksuckers in their green pants and their yellow pants and their orange pants and their precious little hats and their cute little golf carts. It is time to reclaim the golf courses from the wealthy and turn them over to the homeless. Golf is an arrogant, elitist game, and it takes up entirely too much fucking room in this country. Too much fucking room in this country. It is It is an arrogant game on its very design alone. Just the design of the game speaks of arrogance. Think of how big a golf course is. The ball is that fucking big. What do these pin-headed pricks need with all that land? There are over 17,000 golf courses in America. They average over 150 acres apiece. That's over 3 million acres. That's 4,820 square miles. You could build 2 Rhode Islands and a Delaware for the homeless on the land currently devoted to this meaningless, mindless, arrogant, elitist, racist. There's another thing. The only blacks you'll find in country clubs are carrying trays. And a boring game for boring people. Did you ever watch golf on television? It's like watching flies fuck. And a mindless game. Mindless. Think of the intellect. Think of the intellect it must take to draw pleasure from this activity. Hitting a ball with a crooked stick and then walking after it. And then hitting it again. I say, pick it up, asshole. You're lucky you found the fucking thing. Put it in your pocket and go the fuck home. Go the fuck home. You're a winner. No chance of that happening. Dorco in the plaid knickers is going to hit it again and walk some more. Let these rich cocksuckers play miniature golf. Let them fuck with a windmill for an hour and a half or so. See if there's any real skill among them. Now, I know there are some people who play golf who don't consider themselves rich. Fuck them! And shame on them for engaging in an arrogant, elitist pastime. Hey, here's another place we could put some low-cost housing. Cemeteries. There's another idea whose time has passed. Saving all the dead people in one part of town? What the hell kind of a superstitious, religious, medieval bullshit idea is that? Plow these motherfuckers up, plow them into the streams and rivers of America. We need that phosphorus for farming. If we're going to recycle, let's get serious.
Guys.
Okay, we can do that too.
Hey, everybody. I'm back. Okay. I said I got a lot of people over here right now. Now with some serious stuff coming up now. Let me get into it. Thought I'd give you a little George Carlin. He's always good for a good humor. All right. Probably discuss this one here. So I'm going through like crazy right now because I had a rough day today. But on Fridays, I like to show up and do what I got to do. Hold on here. Here we go.
Out in November. But what we know is that we will end up with many more unemployed, and particularly also people in the gray economy, which are not counted for, who lose their jobs. So we will see definitively a lot of anger already now, but probably increased by the end of the year, because this crisis will be with us until we really have found a remedy. So we have to prepare for a more angry world. And how to prepare? It means to take the necessary action to create a fairer world, to see that we provide everybody with decent access to the health system, that we make sure that those people who are really left behind, and I'm not speaking only on national levels, I'm speaking also internationally. If I see now the tragedy in some of the emerging countries like South Africa, like some countries in East Asia, I think it's all, I don't have too many remedies. The remedies have to be discussed through dialogue by the stakeholders of our global system, but I just see the need for such a dialogue, and I see the need for action. I see the need for a great reset.
To what extent would a reset be brought about by a change in the White House, the election of Joe Biden, for instance?
I don't know. We shouldn't speculate about the outcome of the election. We will see beginning of November, and then we can, in any case, we can, and the World Economic Forum is very open and as an open platform to integrate everybody who is willing to address those issues in a spirit, which means to exercise here true global citizenship.
I want to just pick up on some of the economic projections. In your book, you tackle what the future may look like. And at this stage, we're all grappling with various letters of the alphabet, whether it's a V or a U or perhaps even a symbol, a tick shape. Can you just give us some clues about the growth down the track, what we can expect?
First, if you look at it at the national or global level, at the macroeconomic level, one of the things we address very much in the book and we are concerned is the increased debt level. We spend about 10 trillion worldwide to deal with the short-term negative effects of the pandemics. But we should be aware we are just increasing our debt situation. And we were already very much debt loaded before we went into the crisis. So how to get at the end out of this debt situation is still a big question mark. Second, we know that there's quite some impact on different industries. We know that certainly the health industry, the digital industry will go out of this crisis strengthened. But we know that many industries which rely particularly on physical interaction will have difficulties to survive. Finally, I just would add, I think this is an opportunity again to find solutions which are beneficial for the next generation. So why not to tie government aid to the green economy which we have to create? Why not to make sure that we revolutionize, digitalize particularly our educational system? So we are here when we talk about the Great Reset to talk also about innovation. How can we do things differently from what we used to do? And if we speak about differently, it means also how can we do it to make sure that a majority of people are benefiting from it and not just a minority.
We started out Davos this year talking about the environment, Greta Thunberg versus Donald Trump. Certainly a lot of headlines crossing from the mountain. But last time round in the crisis, we saw people didn't care so much about the environment when we were talking about large-scale job losses. This time seems different. Are you surprised about how strong the sustainability theme has been right through the pandemic?
No, I would see even a chance to accelerate, let's say, our transition into a green economy. Because people probably recognize that we have to become more resilient. We have now the experience of one crisis. The environmental crisis, the climate crisis could be a much bigger one. So I see more awareness. But on the other hand, we have the big issue of unemployment, of low levels of employment. And I think we shouldn't see the two as contradictory objectives.
There you go, people. This is what's going on right now. A lot of people don't know it. A lot of people just assume that nothing's going to happen to them. Something's got to happen. I mean, the banks are closing up right now. We're having more wars. They're spending money like crazy. What do you think's going to happen? We're going to suffer. The same people that got us in this mess are not going to hurt. They're going to have their steak. They're going to have their drinks. They're going to be watching TV. They're going to have heat. They're going to have good water. And if things get really bad, like a nuclear war, they'll go to Cheyenne Mountain and hide underneath the ground and laugh their asses off. This is the way they are. Our leaders are so brave that they wanted us to go to war for them. But yet, on January 6th, they hid like babies in the basement and it made a big ordeal out of it. Feared to death about the insurrection. So anyway, let's move on here. We'll get another one here for you. The last one's going to be the doozy. I want you guys to really pay attention to this. I know a lot of people don't watch this at the time I'm on, but a lot of people do when I'm off. So we'll go from there. Hold on here. Get this one ready. How'd that happen? Oh, this is the last one. My apologies. Wait a minute. What happened to it? Maybe I don't have it. Hold on, everybody. Something happened here. Something just missed over. Let me get the last one here. I don't know what the hell happened here. That's wrong. Ah, here we go. I got it. Okay, do you know? Okay, that's where it is. Where's it here? You hear the cops in the background. My wife's watching cops. All right, here we go. It didn't work. Try it again. Hold on, people. Sometimes this thing has a glitch on it. It's called me. What happened? There we go. Let's try it again.
That exclusive episode, we detail how, unbeknownst to most people, there's a giant push to scale up the use of both mRNA technology as well as gene therapy on the livestock that winds up on our supermarket store shelves. Meaning that whether it's beef, pork, lamb, chicken, or turkey, the meat that you're buying from the store could very soon contain remnants of mRNA-based vaccines that the animals were treated with. And that is, by the way, if they don't already contain them. If you'd like to check out that awesome exclusive episode, the link will be right there at the very top of the description box below. I hope you check it out. And now, diving into today's main topic. According to a recently published laboratory report, food samples from McDonald's, as well as from several other national food chains, they were found to have detectable levels of animal antibiotics as well as animal contraceptives. And although the sample size in this particular study was small, it does highlight a much larger issue. The fact that all these chemicals and drugs that go into our livestock, well, they might be ending up on our plates. And so let's start at the very beginning by going through how the study was conducted, as well as what specifically it was able to find. And as always, I hope that if you appreciate content like this, which oftentimes goes completely under the radar of the mainstream media, well, you take a super quick moment to smash those like and subscribe buttons so that this information can reach ever more people via the YouTube algorithm. Now, to start with, this right here is an organization called Moms Across America. They are a nonprofit whose mission is to bring awareness to food that contains GMOs as well as pesticides. And last month, back in September, this organization took food samples from 10 of the most popular food chains in America, and they submitted these samples to be tested at a laboratory over in the state of Iowa. Specifically, these tests were conducted over at the Health Research Institute, which itself is a nonprofit that tests food for things like nutritional value, contaminants, as well as toxin. And Moms Across America, they asked this laboratory to test the food samples that they sent to them to see whether they had the presence of 100 different veterinary drugs and veterinary hormones. Here is specifically how this group collected the samples to be tested. Quote, most of the food was sampled from America's top 10 most popular food chains. Volunteers from Moms Across America went to their local McDonald's, Starbucks, Subway, Chick-fil-A, Burger King, Taco Bell, Chipotle, Dunkin', Wendy's, or Domino's stores and ordered the same meal several times. Kept in its packaging, each meal was sealed, frozen, and mailed to the Health Research Institute. And so then, after receiving these samples, the laboratory took in the food, they ground it up, and then they tested it for the veterinary drugs and the hormones. And what they found was that, with the exception of Chipotle and Subway, all of the food samples tested positive for one of 3 different types of veterinary drugs. Specifically, they tested positive for linensin, narasin, and nicarbazine. Although it is worth mentioning that the concentrations in all of the food samples were below what is allowed for by the FDA, meaning that none of the detectable levels were breaking the law. However, despite them being able to fly under the FDA's limit, the chief scientist over at the laboratory that was conducting these tests, he said that, quote, the FDA's acceptable intake levels are meaningful for checking acute poisoning. Yet in the case of fast food, which some people consume daily, there is a concern for chronic poisoning due to accumulation of toxins. Now, in terms of what these detectable drugs actually were, well, the first one was called monensin. This is a pretty commonly used antibiotic for animals whose side effect within animals can include, quote, diarrhea, weakness, and motor problems. Overdose of monensin can cause an animal's poisoning or even death. And because this is an antibiotic specifically for animals, monensin poisoning in humans is very rare. Although there was a case over in the UK back in the year 2017 wherein a man drank 300 milligrams of monensin, which led to a condition in his body known as rhabdomyolysis, wherein his muscle tissue began breaking down and leaking into the bloodstream. It's a very serious condition, but the silver lining here is that that man ingested about 1 million times more than what was found over in these food samples. As you can see, based on the lab results, less than 0.5 micrograms per kilogram were detected in the food from Taco Bell, Dunkin', Wendy's, Domino's, Burger King, as well as McDonald's. And just for your general reference, in terms of broad safety levels, according to FDA guidelines, the acceptable daily intake for humans of monensin is 12.5 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day. And so the detectable levels in the fast food flew well below that. Now, the second chemical that was detected was called narasin, which is a drug that's commonly used in the raising of chickens. Quote, narasin is an antibiotic and antiparasitic feed additive that helps control parasitic infections in fattened chicken. It is also often added to cattle feed as it increases dry matter intake. Both narasin and monensin are ionophores, meaning they can disturb the balance of ions in cells and are often used in animals to control bacterial and parasitic infections. Side effects of narasin in animals include anorexia, diarrhea, and degeneration of heart and skeletal muscles. And according to the lab results, less than 2 micrograms per kilogram of narasin was detected in a Wendy's cheeseburger, and it was also found in trace amounts in food from Dunkin', from Domino's, as well as a Starbucks sandwich. And again, just for your reference, in terms of the safety level, according to the FDA guidelines, the acceptable human daily intake for narasin is 5 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day. And then lastly, you had a drug known as nicarbazine detected in the food as well. Now, nicarbazine is used as both an antiparasitic as well as a contraceptive in animal livestock. Quote, the drug is primarily used as an antiparasitic drug in fattened chickens and turkeys, but it has also been used for population control of geese and pigeons. Since it is highly toxic to agricultural embryos and decreases egg laying and hatching among grown poultry populations, many farmers have called for more regulations to protect their animals from such exposures. Now, within the food that was tested over in the laboratory, nicarbazine was detected only in the sample of Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich. And in that sample, less than 0.5 micrograms per kilogram of nicarbazine was detected. And again, just for your reference, according to the FDA, the acceptable daily intake for humans of nicarbazine is 200 micrograms per kilogram of body weight per day, which is significantly higher than what was actually detected. Now, up until today, there have been no reports showing that nicarbazine has toxic effects in humans, although there was one research report, you can see it up on screen for yourself, which assumed that nicarbazine would be safe for people, with the logic being that most of the turkeys who are fed this drug would act as something like a filter, breaking down the nicarbazine before it reached your dinner table. However, it's worth mentioning that the organization which coordinated this laboratory analysis, they weren't necessarily convinced by that sort of an assumption. Here was, in fact, a statement put out by Ms. Zen Honeycutt. She is the executive director for Moms Across America, and here's what she said, quote, the impact of millions of Americans, especially children and young adults, consuming a known animal contraceptive daily is concerning. With infertility problems on the rise, the reproductive health of this generation is front and center for us in light of these results. And indeed, as of today, very few studies have been published which have investigated the effects of these veterinary drugs on humans, which is something that Ms. Honeycutt continued to point out. Quote, that's the problem. These are veterinary drugs and hormones. So the only studies that I have found and that you will find will be for animals. They're not authorized for humans, and yet they're being allowed into the food supply. Some people are consuming this food every day, so we don't know how much they're accumulating in their body. Furthermore, even though this particular test was conducted on a rather small sample size, taking food from restaurants in isolated geographical locations, well, Ms. Honeycutt added that other chains might also be affected because of the way that the whole food production operates. Quote, my understanding is that they're grinding the meat of hundreds of birds in order to make these processed meat patties. So when one is contaminated, it likely contaminates possibly hundreds of other samples. If one comes down with this particular disease, then the farmer will likely treat any of the birds at a facility with the hormones and antibiotics. She further added that more testing will need to be conducted in order to figure out whether other restaurants within these chains or other chains altogether have these same issues. Regardless, we here at the Epoch Times, we reached out to the fast food chains that were reported on in this analysis, but we have yet to hear back.
That's just about it, people. Like I said, I got company over here. I was not aware of that they're going to be showing up. Say hi, Lady Jane. So I'm going to be busy over here. But think about what I showed you there, please. Seriously, look and see what's going on. Double check my work. Again, I have a question for you. Why would our owners that really care about us slaves treat us like dirt? All they want is our money. That's all it is. That's all we're good for. And eventually they won't even want that because they'll have robotics to do it for us. You know, scab labor, cheap labor. This is all it was. We were slaves on a plantation, these owners. And there's no such thing as America. Just call it a piece of land. That's all it is. Fake names, fake fiat currency, fake government. Everything's fake. Even our names are fake. Think about it. But I do appreciate it. Fitness, thank you for showing up. Do appreciate it. And the other people out there are looking. Please tell your friends what's going on. Let them, they don't have to subscribe, but just share your content with other people. Get people to know what's going on. The more people that know about it, the better it is for us, not the government. You know, what's that? Fitness says robots? Oh, yeah. I can't tell I'm working on this thing here. Well, yeah, I know, but you're hogging up my phone. Shame on you. Give me back my phone so I can see what's going on. Oh, you're co-hosting with me? Is that what you're doing? Never mind, people. I'm going to be. I'm going to be in heap of trouble when I hang up there. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much. Fitness, I do appreciate it. Have a good one. You too. Catch you in a while. And please share this with people. Tell them what's going on. I'm not here for money, monetary money, or being a hero. I'm just trying to wake up people. That's all I'm trying to do. Again, Rights for Vets, we're out. And if anybody happens to see Nude, turn the lights on for him. He's probably sleeping. I'll catch you in a while, everybody. Thank you.